first time where I was like invited to be a part of shows. It was the first time I was doing shows.
How did
So,
that
like,
feel? Amazing?
it was dope, man, because it was
Yeah.
like, honestly, like, I'll be real with you, like, even right now, like, when I talk to some people and they like kind of like their perspective of what I'm kind of doing, because like when your head has tunnel vision and you like focus on the further vision that you see that you want to get to, you're just pummeling through everything that you don't really notice what you're doing. But people who are perceiving you as you're going through that path, they're looking at you like, oh man, you achieved this accomplishment, you did this, you did.
Hey guys, welcome back to Calvation, episode number 8. If you're new to this channel, subscribe on YouTube or share it on podcast with your friends and family. It will mean a lot. So today we have a special guest, Mir.
Yeah.
So tell us what do you do?
Yeah, I'm a visual artist. Been creating art, taking it more seriously since 2015 when I first moved to Philadelphia. Since then, been throwing it online, doing shows. The work has picked up and allowed me to move here to Brooklyn, New York, where we are now.
Yeah.
And been here since September of 2018, and things are definitely, it's been a smart move so far.
Yeah. So what are some of your long-term goals with the things that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'll definitely say long-term goal is, man, to just have the art be like a pillar within the culture that I feel like I represent.
Yeah.
And from there, just like giving people who would consider themselves a part of this culture, like giving them some representation through artwork. 'Cause that was one main thing that I did see when I first moved to Philadelphia. Yeah. When I looked into like the large art museum that's in the middle of Philly, I didn't really see too much black art. I think the only type of like black, quote unquote, black art that I saw, it was like by the bathroom, and I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, let me, rather than complain about it, let me contribute by like just putting stuff out there. And, it's been definitely, things have been rolling.
So who inspired you? Like, why did you choose art or this career? Who inspired you to do this?
I've honestly been creating, like I did, basically when I was around 2, I couldn't really talk. Yeah. I wasn't able to talk like a normal 2-year-old should talk.
Did you stutter or you just had bad communication?
I just couldn't talk. Couldn't talk at all. So I was in a school where they basically like taught me like how to draw in order to communicate. And that's how I first really started to communicate. Was I would like draw from how the teachers would teach me, taught me how to. So I didn't talk till I was 4 years old. So I've just really been doing art since I was like 2 years old.
2 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
So was that like a new opportunity for you? For like, wow, like, after was that like a struggle when you couldn't talk? Like, was that like the art? Was that like a new open door for you, a new opportunity?
It was more so like I really just more
was
so
it just to get away from?
Away from me. It turned into somewhat of a way for me to communicate, and then it turned basically into something I would notice even when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school. Like I would be distracted because I would always draw. That's how I would like make friends. Really, I would always be kind of like an introvert. Yeah. But then people would look over like, damn, you drew that. And that's how I would kind of like make my friends or whatever, like when I was younger, like going through elementary and middle school. So it was always kind of like a way, and it was always kind of a way of me kind of like just kind of like almost speaking somewhat. Until now, as I'm an adult, it turned into like if I'm feeling a certain way about something that's going on, like that's how I would express myself. Like I'll like paint it or I would draw.
Put all your thoughts in the drawing.
Yeah, it's like it's the best way. I myself is the best way that I'm able to like express myself. I would say.
Yeah. So when did you realize, you know what, I'm gonna do this for a career? I'm gonna take it to a whole nother level. Yeah. I'm not doing it just for like communication, I guess. Yeah. When I'm gonna like start like doing this for a living, I guess.
Yeah, I would say it. While I was in college, when I was in bachelor's degree, I got my bachelor's degree from Florida A&M University. While I was in school, I would always like kind of talk about it, like with my friends. Like,
were you too scared to get it, or you just like, I don't know?
It was like a combination of being, I guess, I wouldn't say scared. More so, I would say like not really. I don't really know if it's gonna work. Like,
undecided, I guess.
Undecided, but I always would like kind of say that I would do it, but because I was in school, I really didn't have like much time. But when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, like I started messing with it a little bit. Yeah. And it caught on a little buzz or whatever, but I actually went back to school to get my master's degree, my MBA, and when I got my master's degree, I just stopped completely. But once I graduated in 2015 with my MBA, I moved to Philadelphia, and I remember I was in my apartment, and I was just like, then I got all this like artwork on my drive. I was like, I'm gonna take this a little more serious. I'm like taking it more serious, and ever since then, like it's been kind of like it's been.
You'll be more serious about it then.
Yeah, being like, I still remember that moment where I was just like, yo, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna do this. Really, what happened, I took an entrepreneurship class. I took an entrepreneurship class when I was getting my MBA, and she made us like start a social media. She made us all start a social, whatever type of business that we wanted to start.
Yeah.
So I basically like started a social media for my Instagram, my Facebook, Twitter. And I remember one day I was in that empty apartment in Philadelphia, and I was just like, let me do something with this Instagram that I got. Yeah. And I started creating more art, putting more art and stuff in there, and it just started like increasing. Eventually, like I was able to, what the social media basically did was like get my eyes on my stuff where people would like start purchasing my art. I remember the first time someone bought some of my art, it was while I was in Philadelphia. It was the first time where I was like invited to be a part of shows. It was the first time I was doing shows.
How did that feel? Amazing?
It was dope, man, because it was like, honestly, like I'll be real with you, like even right now, like when I talk to some people and they like kind of like their perspective of what I'm kind of doing, because like when your head has tunnel vision and you like focus on the further vision that you see that you want to get to, you're just pummeling through everything that you don't really notice what you're doing. But people who are perceiving you as you're going through that path, they're looking at you like, oh man, you achieved this accomplishment, you did this, you did that. You don't really see it. You're just like, I'm just climbing the ladder up to the goal that
just focus on yourself, keep doing it.
Exactly. So when people like tell you how they perceive and what they're seeing that you're doing, you're like, oh, I appreciate that, but like my vision is much larger than what this is currently.
So like, I'm pretty sure you had a bigger mindset compared to other friends, I guess, or other people compared to small mindset, or?
I don't know. I'll be real with you. I don't really like speak with like too many people. I'm more so
yourself.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, and the individuals that I do speak to is like my best friend is my business partner. Like I've always, ever since we were in school, we've always had like this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. Like he's not like an artist or anything, but he's a business. He's a business mind. Like, you know what I'm saying. So we've always just had the motto of just like, you know, might as well like take it to the top. Like might as well like, if you're gonna do something, put your all in it. From the smallest things, we've always just kind of been like, if I'm gonna put my energy in something, I might as well do it to like the furthest extent. Like put all my energy in it.
So was it your motivation, or who else was your motivation that kept you going and keep doing all this career? Joining.
You saying people are you talking about people around me or people?
Or what motivated you to do this thing, I guess?
What motivated me? I gotcha. I would say, my bad, I'm rambling. I would say the one thing, because if you take a look at my art, it's a common theme going on. And I would say I still remember the one day, like the Trayvon Martin situation, you know, when he was murdered by George Zimmerman. I remember going through, seeing the whole process, just like consuming it just like everybody else. But at the end of the day, like, all right, that's effed up what the dude did, but he's going to get found guilty because he obviously killed this boy. And as like the news, I don't watch the news no more, but as I was kind of like looking at the news and they were kind of like leaning towards he might get off, I'm like, no, there's no way he's going to get off. And then when the verdict was not guilty, I remember that moment. I feel like I kind of transformed in that moment. Wow. It was kind of, I don't know what they were doing, if that was some type of like, it hit me like really heavily, like, yo, that's not right. Like, I was like, yo, what else? It's just like, I felt like I was like in a history book in the sense of like, it's like the 1960s or something. Like, this is like ridiculous in the sense of like, how could something like this happen? How could something, this is an obvious case, this guy guilty, he murdered this boy. And I just felt the need of like, yo, something needs to be done. So, and I was just like, all right, what power, like what gift do I have that I can like kind of, because I feel like I wanted to say something, but like I couldn't. You couldn't, And there's nothing you can really do. Like so I said, I'm just going to create art like pertaining towards things of this nature, like kind of giving, originally it was like, I'm going to give a voice how I feel, but like when I started putting it online, when I started doing shows, I noticed that people could like relate to it. People like, it resonated with a lot of people. It resonated, the feelings that I had resonated with a whole bunch of people when I put it into work. So I would say that was the motivation of creating the work that I create now.
Because like right now, the people have the talent, but they have no motivation, so they're stuck, and they don't know how to push forward, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
My advice to them would be just to, like,
I feel like people are very insecure, you know, they don't want to be judged or have haters along the way, you know?
Fear is...
I think fear.
Fear is your biggest opponent. Fear, like, I gave up on fear a long time ago. Yeah. Like, I gave up on fear a long time ago, but when I was, like, being kind of hesitant, fear was the main thing. Yeah. Fear of, like, oh, what would people think? What would my friends think? Like, what would, you know, just, like... Fear of like not being accepted, fear of putting something out there and people not understanding, fear, a whole bunch of fears. And then I honestly don't know what it was, but one day I just was like, I don't care, like this is what it is.
Because I feel like also if you surround yourself with people that believe in you or support you, you have more like, I guess, a better feeling and just you know?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say community. While I was in Philadelphia, that's a good point. While I was in Philadelphia, within my second or third year being there, I found a community. It's called Global Village. You're just surrounded really and what they are is just a community of just creatives. Yeah. Like just like, I guess it's called people of color, but like just a whole bunch of creatives. I'm not talking about just artists, I'm talking about singers, rappers, photographers, painters, dancers, and everybody would just join together in these jam sessions. And like the energy that they would put on, it was crazy. Cause like everybody was supporting there. Everybody was like, what do you do? Like, I'm a painter. Like, show me your work. And then this person could be a dancer or a singer or a photographer. And everybody would just like kind of lift each other up. I would say that was like, in the sense of what you're saying, like having a community, I would say that was the creative community that I found within Philadelphia that really like motivated me. Cause there would be time, cause they used to have jam sessions every 2 weeks on Thursdays. And what I would do would, after the jam sessions, like the energy that I would gain from the jam sessions, I would like go home and like work on a piece or whatever.
Do more than you expected, right?
Yeah, it would give me like a boost of energy, like let's go get it, let's push through and finish this piece or whatever. Yeah. So I would say that was community is very important.
How did you overcome those obstacles, like when people were, I guess, not supporting you or just like, I guess, not a big fan of you or your work? How did you overcome that? You know what, I got this. What are some of the things that you did to put yourself in a positive situation and just start doing what you want?
You gotta like, honestly, man, which is very hard in today's world. You really just like gotta have tunnel vision. I mean, I know I create art that some people they agree with and some people they just don't agree with. Like me, like when I put something out there into the world, like when I'm creating something, I know basically like a lot of the artwork that I create, they're really just visions that come into my head, and I like trust the vision, and I developed the vision. It takes me about, to be honest with you, it takes me like 3 to 4 weeks to sometime a month to like create one piece. Yeah. So like I get that idea, I get that vision, and it will develop throughout that 3 to 4 or 5 weeks. And I know like what my message, I don't create a piece without some type of message I'm trying to put across within that piece. So when I'm working on that piece, I know what my message is. If people misinterpret it, I don't give any descriptions of the work. Like however people interpret it, I want you to have that. Like, cause that's your perception. That your perception comes from your own whatever happened within your life, whatever your own personal views were. I'm not gonna go against it. However, what I do is I put it into the world and I just leave it alone. I don't read any comments. I mean, when I'm at shows, that's when you're kind of like. Hear people's opinions or like what they see within it or whatever. But in terms of like the internet, I don't really read any comments because I know what my original message was when I created the piece. And even if it's not, I'm not just saying even negative comments, even good comments. Like I just don't read it. I just know like what my vision is, what I want to create.
They don't know what you're going through. They don't know the hard work that you put in behind that artwork.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, they don't know the hard work, and also sometimes like, you know, people's own perceptions. Like people's own perceptions, they may have their own like description of what this piece might mean or something like that. And one of my main reasons to like not like kind of like focus on what an individual may think of the work is just because I don't want my own thoughts to kind of be geared toward, like even a positive, statement or something positive someone might think. I don't want that. Oh, people really like when I draw this type of artwork. Let me add this in it just because I know people like. Nah, I feel like when you do that, you're starting to like.
You're putting other people's opinion in that.
Yeah, and I don't like. I feel like the visions, whatever is downloading into my mind, like I feel like it's coming from like a pure place, and I don't want it to be like tainted by like, oh, let me add this just because I know people like that'll get them all riled up. Like, nah, like I don't. I want to like just have that complete focus and faith in whatever these streams of consciousness are coming from.
So is art the only thing that you're doing so far, or is anything else you doing beside art? Or?
Other than that, I mean, New York has been. I've been here for like a year, and
it's pretty busy out here. It's a lot of people over here.
New York is amazing. This is
you meet a lot of different type of people too, different jobs, different opportunities out here.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like it's been the best. Honestly, it's probably been the best decision I've ever made in my life to move here, just because like. I'm like you said, like I do create, but I'm being offered so many other opportunities. And it's creative. Oh, I love it, man. This is, and not even in the sense of just the opportunities, but like you walk outside, man, and you just see so many. So many different types of people. So many. Like the backdrop of the skyline, like the sounds, like the smells, which are a whole nother conversation. But like there's so much, you kind of get sensory overload here. And which is a positive and negative, because when I was in Philly, like.
Do you love it here better than Philly, or?
I love Philly. I mean, there are pros and cons of this place versus Philly, and there are pros and cons of this place versus New York, New York versus Philly. I wouldn't say like I like one more than the other, because there were some elements in Philly that I absolutely love that I haven't found here at least yet. I would say Philly, man. Philly's just a real city. Like if the people there mess with you, they mess with you. If they don't, they don't. And like it's just you can tell it's a genuine love. At least from the community that I was in, like it's a genuine love. Like these people, like
they support you. They always by your side.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that about Philadelphia.
So what are some of the routines that you do that, you know what, you wake up, I'm gonna have a good day, I'm probably gonna work out, eat a good breakfast. What are some of the routines that you do that keeps you motivated and just a better person? Start doing better artwork. What are some of the routines that you do?
I would say the routines that I do, man. I definitely am like heavy into like meditation in the sense of like.
Yeah, we get that a lot. A lot of people meditate over here.
No, it's a reason that's a common denominator, because at least for what it does to me, it like
clears the mind.
Clears the canvas, like because especially moving here, like your mind is, like I said, sensory overload. There's so much. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. What did this person say? Like, oh, I gotta throw out the trash. There's so much going on that sometimes you need just that clear slate, and that's what meditation has done for me for like multiple years now. Like, especially in high stress situations. Also, just like taking. Also, because like when I go in on whatever project I'm working on, I'm going in like that's what I'm purely focused on. However, there has to be, not every day, but there has to be moments where sometimes you just like go outside. And like just be within the moment. It ain't gotta be all day, but it's just gonna be like 30 minutes or something. Writing as well is very important.
Spend some time for yourself.
Yeah, spend some time for yourself. I would say that's very important, because like all these are kind of like leading up to when you are going to take on. This is more so what you would do before you actually go and take on the day. Now when you're like out there like battling and taking on the day. Like it's whatever, like you're within that battle, but I feel like there has to be like a moment of peace, a moment to yourself before you, especially out here, before you like go into, I call it the beast.
The moment you walk out, you have so many things going on, people going at you, you have
so many
things. If you wake up, you check your phone and social media going on, you gotta like calm down.
Yeah.
Take some time for yourself.
Yeah, I haven't put this in my life yet, but a lot of because I listen to a lot of like individuals who I look up to, not just painters, but just iconic figures, and not all of them, but one common denominator that I've heard is like a lot of them won't look at their phones for the first 30 minutes to an hour when they wake up. They like kind of take that time for themselves. And I kind of look at that's something that I want to employ. I'm not gonna lie and be like, yo, that's what I'm doing right now. Nah, it's not. Like, it's kind of like the first thing I reach for. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, because like honestly, like I think people become addicted just by waking up and look at their phone.
It is.
But also it's a hard habit to just like wake up and just not look at your phone because
it is.
You have to get used to it, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So what person do you look up to?
Person do I look up to? There are several different people that I would say I look up to. In terms of artistry, I would say, honestly, in terms of the art world, people who are out right now, you know, Kehinde Wiley definitely big time. He's like a very prominent artist who I do notice that now he's venturing even beyond like just paintings. Where in Times Square right now he has this amazing like statue that they put out there that he like I guess made the concept of, and it's amazing. So like I would say it's things like that because you want to like I'm noticing now he's not even like just creating art, but the work that he is creating is like shifting culture. That's something that I would like. I'm striving to do myself. So I look up to him, but a lot of in terms of artwork, a lot of the artists that I look up to are like not alive. Like I'm obviously a big fan of Basquiat. Like huge fan of Basquiat. I would say more so my biggest motivation as an artist, I would say like a Picasso, just because of like the amount of years that he put in and like how he kind of like took art like took it by the neck or whatever and like kind of shifted where it would go. Like when you talk about cubism, and not even just like what he did as an artist, just his lifestyle, like how he kind of lived that bohemian lifestyle of like kind of like living an alternative type of lifestyle, which is something that I really was like, yeah, that's kind of dope to me or whatever. Yeah. He was able to live an alternative lifestyle. However, he still was able to support himself. He still was able to like live like very wealthy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely say, Picasso was probably like my number one. Like,
so on average, do you draw or paint? What do you normally draw or paint, or you both?
I do both, but the majority of my work that you probably see on Instagram is like it's a weird technique. You ever heard of like Microsoft Paint?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
It's usually on Windows computers, but it's Microsoft Paint with a mouse.
The Microsoft. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I use a mouse to create the work. No like pad, no scanning, and then putting the image and drawing. It's literally just a blank screen, and I just started drawing. And I started doing that like when I was in middle school, basically.
Oh, wow.
Like when I was 12, 13 years old, I used to always like draw, color, paint. But then when my parents brought a computer when I was like 12, and I was like, well, let me mess around with this. And I saw, there's a paint program. And I literally still remember the very first painting that I did on there. Like I remember the name and it all. And like I was like, okay. And ever since then, I've been doing it ever since. I was 12 years old. I'm 32 now. So I've been doing it for 20 years. It just hit me that I've literally been doing it for 20 years.
20 years.
So now it's somewhat of like.
And you build up your skills along the way too,
Yeah, my technique has definitely like developed heavily. I think to the point where like the work is like very recognizable. Like you can kind of tell like, oh, that's a mirror piece right there. So. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely paid dividends in the sense of like most people aren't stupid enough to use it because it's very time consuming. It's a very basic process of creating because it don't have that many tools. But I don't know, like the tediousness of it, like as you're creating something, you kind of have so many thoughts are running through. You'll be able to develop the piece a lot more just because it takes a lot more time to create it. Yeah.
So do you like? So what has been like the best moment so far in your career so far? Like wow, I'm actually really proud of myself. What are some of the moments that you just felt like very accomplished?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the moment that hit me the hardest was I created a piece called like My Brother's Keeper. I originally created it in 2017, right before, it's like a piece where it's showing, it's Martin Luther King and he's like covering the mouth of like Donald Trump.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, like when I put it out there, it like.
Went viral?
Yeah, like heavily. And it went viral at first in 2017, and like, you know, it was in magazines, it was all over social media, like people were, like articles, people calling me or whatever to write articles about it.
What was going through your mind? Like,
about what now?
Like people calling you and all that stuff?
It was crazy, man. It was like, damn, this shit is really happening, like whatever. Yeah. But what was crazy is like, it hit even. So basically, it like I posted it on like Martin Luther King Day in 2017, but what was crazy is I posted it in 2018 and it hit even harder. Like it went viral even harder to the point where.
The last year.
Yeah, it was in like the Washington. I had articles in the Washington Post, like New York Times. It was in there. The Philly Magazine, like a lot of different publications. Yeah. Some international publications as well. It was amazing, man. It was it really just shows you that, like, you know, if you stay focused on like what you, just don't quit. Just don't quit. Because I'm not saying that, oh, I was struggling before then or whatever. The stuff was still working, but if you stay focused on whatever you're trying to do, whether it is art, whether it is sports, whether it is you working on a business, I feel like the worst thing people can do is like to quit when they see things aren't working. And like I said, it's hard for me to say because I can't really be like, oh, things weren't working for me, and then all of a sudden, no, things were working, but like I still continued. But I would say the biggest factor in not quitting is, like, to be honest with you, like, whatever your passion is, if you put your energy within your passion, you wouldn't even fathom the thought of quitting. Because people coming to me sometimes and be like, yeah, man, don't quit, man, you're doing good, don't quit. And I think to myself, like I have, like, the thought of quitting isn't, because like I said, I've been doing this since I was 2 years old. Like, this is.
It's just like, I've been told that to myself, not to quit, you know?
Not even. It's like I don't even have the concept of quitting because I've been doing this since I was born. Like, and this is like literally like what I am. This is literally what I am. Like, so it's kind of like more so like this is what it is. This is what I've been doing.
So what are some of the mistakes that young artists are doing right now?
Mistakes? Yeah. I don't feel like there's no mistakes, man.
What are some of the that they can learn along the way?
What they can learn along the way? I'll be honest with you. Like, you have to learn how to market yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I sometimes think of, like, what if I didn't go to school and just focused on the art? Like, where would I even be in a better position? But I would say what I liked the most about going to school, because I was a business major. Mm-hmm. It taught me how to market myself, like the entrepreneurship class. It taught me how to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. School taught me how to market myself. It taught me how to basically sell your work and stuff like that. So I feel like artists. But some artists don't want to market themselves. They want to be like the kind of, which I completely get. Me to a certain degree, I'm the same type of way too. Where you just want your work, you don't want to be. But you have to also learn how to like market yourself. That's something.
You get more promotion coming on, more awareness.
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of great artists out there I've noticed, but like they just don't know exactly how to market themselves. But their work is phenomenal. Crazy. Not even just their work, but like them as an individual, a dope individual. They just need to learn how to like market themselves. And I'll say like that's probably like one of the main things I feel like a lot of younger artists need to do right now. But a lot of them are doing good, I would say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you try to compete yourself with them, or you just try to focus on yourself?
Oh no, I don't really. No, I mean, I'll look at and see like what people are doing, and just in the sense.
Do you build up ideas from that, or how do you build up your ideas, or you just take ideas from your thoughts?
Nah, my ideas literally just pop, and this is like a very weird, man. Like it's very. You probably won't, like, it's like they literally like are downloaded into my mind. That's why I say I don't know where some of this stuff even comes from. Yeah. But if you like look at my art, like it's kind of like, how did he even come up with that? It's literally like a stream of consciousness just like comes in and like presents the image in my head, and as I'm creating it, I develop more things within it. So it's really I don't know what it is, but I just look at it as like, hey, it's been working for me so far.
It's a good opportunity.
Like, it's been working for me so far. It's opened up a lot of opportunities. So I would say that's been the.
So what are some lesson or advice you want to give to the young art people, or just artists in general?
Yeah, I'll say the biggest, like I said, once again, the biggest advice I have is do not quit. Do not quit, and like create from your passion. And once you create from your passion, like you'll find. Because some people, they're like, oh, I want to like cater to this audience, or I want to cater to that audience. Finding your audience is extremely important. Finding your audience is extremely important. If you want your audience to be like a bunch of like young kids or whatever, yeah, that's cool. You want your audience to be like a bunch of like wealthy people, you can make art that way. But make sure you're doing it from your passion, because if you do it from your passion, one, you won't, that thought of quitting will never like, that thought of quitting will never come up. And also like when you create from your passion, that's when you'll really be able to create phenomenal work. Because people, I don't know what it is, but people can kind of see like, they can kind of see when the individual is being phony or when the individual is like really about what they're like creating.
Not trying to flex and just fake it,
Yeah, and when they see that, they gravitate towards that. It's like, it's kind of magnetic. It's very magnetic, and you'll find your audience through that. Like, so I would say like create, and also have no fear. That's probably my number one advice to a young artist. Like, have no fear. Like, have no fear. I'm still battling some things where I'm like, was that thinking too big right there? Like, nah, don't think anything is too big. Don't think.
So we're gonna ask you just 3 questions to finish off.
Okay.
So waffles or pancakes?
I'm gonna say pancakes.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of waffle guys. My channel's been a lot of waffle people on there.
I don't like either. That's why I kind of like. I don't really eat. I don't like breakfast that much. It's weird. I don't know.
So what do you normally eat for breakfast then?
Man,
simple stuff.
Cereal maybe. I don't really eat breakfast. I like it, but I don't really mess with it heavy.
Yeah. So if you had to have one superpower, what would it be?
I would say being invisible.
Oh, really? Just invisible?
Yes.
Not people seeing you?
Yeah, so many things would happen if you could like just be invisible whenever you want. Yeah.
If you had to have one meal for the rest of your life, and that's all you can eat, what would it be?
Haitian griot.
Haitian food? Oh, you Haitian, right?
Yeah, I'm Haitian. Yeah, Haitian griot. I'll probably be kind of super unhealthy because it's like pork, but I would definitely be Haitian griot.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for having us.
Thank you
guys.
Man.
Stay tuned.
I appreciate
Follow him. Watch his artwork.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.